Hello. I know you have no idea who am I. You really don't need to know who am I. I'm just a random person online with an opinion. And since on this video, her and the panel who's presenting the information said that people rarely debate what they are proposing, I thought it would be fun to watch what they're saying and react to their ideas to see if we can discredit the argument they are putting forward. And this video is gonna go straight as it is. I'm not gonna do any additions. So, first of all, I apologize for the mistakes, and second of all, this is the first reaction video I'm ever going to do. So, without any further ado, let's see what they have to say.
To go on to talk about this is amazing. We should just watch it. This is on TikTok, and it is just going to show you where we are at on the topic of gender. Watch this TikTok compilation. The youth are hanging out on TikTok. What are they seeing?
I am gay. Are you gay? And if not, would you like to try to be gay?
Do you know that straight men can have sex with men and not be gay? They can.
There are trans men who lactate. There are those who go by he, him, different pronouns. It is not hurting cis women to say chest feeding, but it does hurt those who go by other pronouns to continue to say breastfeeding, especially if they have body dysmorphia.
I don't believe in being straight. I don't believe it's possible to be straight.
The gender binary is a racist cultural construction created by white scientists in the 19th century as a means of showing the supposed superiority of Western civilization at being the only culture able to uphold sexual dichotomy.
Gender fluid means my gender changes depending on the day or week, or even depending on the hour. It also means the pronouns I'm comfortable with can change too.
You do mess up somebody's pronouns. All you need to do is correct yourself and apologize. You don't need to fall over yourself saying, oh God, I totally love transgender people. I've seen all 4 seasons of Transparent. Because no one has seen all 4 seasons of Transparent.
Straight men can be attracted to the sex act, but not to the man. Straight men having sex with men doesn't cancel somebody's heterosexuality any more than a straight woman having sex with a woman cancels her sexuality.
Women are not the only people who give birth. Trans men and non-binary persons also get pregnant and give birth. It's important to include these people when we're talking about labor and delivery because they do it too.
All you Karens out there who have your panties in a bunch about the fact that doctors are starting to use the term pregnant person instead of pregnant women, I want you to listen up. Women are people. Non-binary people and trans men are also people. So this term includes everyone that was born with a uterus and could be pregnant.
Okay, so first and foremost, if you're
First and foremost, let me explain what brought me here. First of all, I was watching earlier video of reactions of to TikTok videos. It was a PewDiePie video reacting to wholesome, random, weird, just funny videos. I honestly was smiling through the video. I didn't really saw a reason to be pissed. And he said something along the lines, welcome to the video and let's watch TikTok compilation from the site that everybody loves to hate or something like that. So that's the reason I'm doing this video, because I was watching that video and as soon as it ended, this one came up. Another TikTok video related, I guess. So let's hear what she has to say.
your doctor looks like that, and if your doctor tells you that you need a new doctor, right? Your doctor did not pass basic biology, and you should maybe not be allowing that person.
Okay, so she is saying because the opinions the doctor has, she did not completed her certification as a doctor, which is a fallacy. Because if she is a doctor, she had to have passed biology. The fact that her understanding of biology contradicts her standards, her moral standards, doesn't discredit the doctor, or doesn't discredit the opinion of the doctor just because she thinks the doctor didn't complete biology if she doesn't say what Candance always thinks it's correct or appropriate. In this case, it will be more like, can you show me your biology degree so you can properly discredit the claims the doctor is making? Because that will be a more proper argument if you are going with that. You are saying her opinion is invalid because she didn't complete it. She probably didn't complete it biology. If you have a PhD on biology and you can prove that she is incorrect, then your argument is valid. If not, well, I'm sorry, I just discredited one of your premises.
To do anything with your body at all. I would not trust that doctor. Secondly, my child is not allowed to have TikTok.
Good. Everybody should have the right to have their own standards. It doesn't matter if it's ethical standard, if it's morality, if it's sexuality. Every single individual is entitled to the beliefs they hold as true. So, I agree with that.
Well, it's a Chinese asset, for one thing.
Oh, another point, and I didn't notice about that. It's a Chinese asset. So see the relationship between what PewDiePie was saying and that argument? It's not the fact that TikTok is a bad place. The content is innocuous, it's just content. The problem is that it's a Chinese asset. And that means the US government doesn't have any control on what gets published on that platform. And that's the real reason everybody hates TikTok. Well, everybody who's like over 30 and it's like American or maybe European or maybe Australian and has a conservative view of morality.
You know.
This is like what I expect to see if I was walking through a psychiatric facility.
These people are memes. They are literally memes. They are the things that DC Drano posts on his account and says this is what the left represents. It's like, but these are actual people. Actual people are out there with these ideas. It blows my mind that these are real people.
I mean, it's important.
So, because there are people in the world that think different to you, you think that's crazy? Because people have the right to have a different opinion to you? That's what he's saying, that everybody who has a different opinion to him, it's a loony who belongs into a mental asylum. That's what he's saying. That's the argument he just put forward when he said that.
Important to realize, because those kids, especially the younger people, you know, I have no truck with the adults. You should never be, practicing medicine if you believe that men can get pregnant.
You cannot. I don't have any problem with adults. You shouldn't be practicing medicine if you think a male can be pregnant. Biologically speaking, okay, male body is not even to give birth. Culturally speaking, a masculine female body can give birth. And I was going to mention about the difference of what is femininity or what represents femininity depending on the culture, because every single culture in the world has a different interpretation of what masculinity and femininity is, regardless of the gender of the person. So biological, sex, and cultural behavioral standards based on gender are not the same thing.
Right.
But the children who are saying this stuff, to me, those are victims. You want to talk about like victimhood, right? Those are the people that, when you talk about the elite, which practically now exists to...
So, can we go back to what he was saying?
You want to talk about like victimhood, right? Those are the people that, when you talk about the elite, which practically now exists to scoop people's brains out with a melon baller. I mean, it chases people around, essentially.
So the elites now exist to scoop people's brain with the... Is that even an argument?
And destroys their brains. Like, this is the result of it.
And destroy their brains because they are expressing an opinion that's different to yours? That's what's destroying their brains?
And their unhappiness is on the hands of the people who preach this garbage.
The unhappiness, it's on the people of the hands. The unhappiness of children are on the hands of the preachers. But let me think about it. Who's gonna have more right to preach other people? An individual that went through school, that finished a PhD on medicine, or an actual preacher? You know what I mean? Like a religious person who's imposing moral authority on other people because God, a deity, a non-existent entity in this reality, it's telling them they have the moral right to tell other people how to behave. So I agree with that. Preaching other people how they have to live is the reason society in general it's so freaked up, without saying the other word. Because let's keep it family friendly, of course.
Who go into the schools and tell them this, right? And the terrible, terrible ways that they suffer, and they do. I mean, it's for.
So it's wrong for doctors to go to school and educate children, but it's okay for parents to send children to religious institutions to get indoctrinated by preachers, not by doctors, not by scientists, not by information that has been obtained through the scientific method, by a person who thinks they have the right to impose a set of morality because a book says so, because a guy on the sky said so.
Orwellian, the way that they suffer.
Of course, it's Orwellian. It's the freaking definition of indoctrination, and it's not only done by a platform. It's also done by any other institution in the world.
This is all on them.
Yes, it's all on the institutions. The problem with society is the corruption of the institutions who try to impose certain behavioral patterns on other people.
I mean, we cannot let this go.
Right. It's corroding the values of society, and there's something.
It's corroding the values of society. Are there universal values in society? Or we go back to the point where I said that just like gender construct, morality also is dependent on the society that you are living currently. Because we are not gonna have, like in the United States, we're not gonna have the same moral principles that somebody on the Middle East will have, or somebody in China, or somebody in Japan. Japan is one of the most strictest places in the world. So the discipline or the morality that we have in the West pales in comparison to China, or yes, to China and to Japan. Those are cultures that value tradition over the individuality of each person. So there is no such thing as universal value. There is no such thing as the corruption of the values of society, because every single person holds different values to be true. So there is no universal morality the same way the laws of physics affect every single body on the universe. It's gonna be always a constant. The chemical reactions of the interaction between elements is gonna be exactly the same because it's dictated by the laws of physics. But the morality of individuals is not dictated by a universal standard. It's always subjective to cultural and personal background.
I've noticed about social media every time, and it is interesting, and I think it's very relevant that this is Chinese social media. This is a Chinese app.
There we go again. It's a Chinese app. It doesn't matter if it's Chinese or if Japanese or if it's Mexican or American. The problem they have, it's because it's outside the control of the community guidelines that we have imposed on the social media companies that operate from the United States. That's why they are bothered by it, because they don't really have a mechanism to control what gets published on that platform.
Asset, because what better way to quickly corrode culture than via a social media app? And every time we've introduced a new app, people have gotten more and more insane, right?
What better way to corrupt people than to indoctrinate them into thinking there is such a thing as us versus them mentality? That's my main problem with any sort of theology on the planet. It allows people to think they belong to a group and anybody who doesn't belong to a group, it's incorrect and therefore less of a person than they are.
So there was like Facebook and Twitter, that was like when I was in high school. And okay, cool, we're connecting with each other and that seems okay. And then you get Instagram and suddenly it's all about people being naked and, you know, making it less than, less clothes, less clothes.
What's wrong with human sexuality or with human anatomy? Is it? There we go again. It's a contradiction to the moral standards of the panel, of the people who share her ideology, because it's allowing other ideas to be accepted by the general public.
For likes, you know, it's all about getting the like. And now you have TikTok, and it's become just pure freakazoids. You know what I mean? Like, just like
pure freakazoids. Again, that it's not an argument. You're just insulting people. You're calling people names. Being a freak doesn't discredit. Being different than other people doesn't discredit your ideas. You could be, I don't know, a punk. Somebody like a skinhead. One of those guys that shave all the freaking head on the sides and then get the mohawk. And get a bunch of tattoo, a bunch of piercings. And because of the way you look, people are gonna judge you. But that doesn't change the character of the person. If that person is wholesome, it doesn't matter if the way they look outside. If they have a set of moral standards, it doesn't matter the physical appearance. To me, it's most disgusting to be prettier outside, like she's an attractive person, but on the inside, that's hypocrisy. That's a double moral standard. That's judging people based on the appearance and not on the ideas. And
the freaks are out and they don't care and they're unapologetic. If you have a problem with it, it's because you're a bigot. And unfortunately, it's younger and younger generations that are on these social media apps. Again, this started when I was in high school with Facebook. Now, you've got people, their 4-year-olds are on TikTok, and parents are not aware that this is what they're seeing.
One thing that's really...
Well, then it's not the fault of TikTok. It's not the fault of the content that's being published. It's the fault of the individual. The fact that they don't have a set of standards that lead their offspring into being functional members of society. But we cannot blame, I don't know, let's say we couldn't blame Pampers for or baby getting a rash because we put them that specific brand. So the same thing happens with TikTok. We cannot blame TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or the information that's being published there. We should be blaming the person who's not instructing proper moral values into the person without even having to go into a specific theological source for morality. You can always teach morality to people.
I'll just say this real quick, Brent. One thing, like when watching some of these videos, you can see on the side, I don't know if you guys know TikTok, but there will be a thing that shows the comments. And so many of these people who make these horrible leftist TikToks, they turn the comments off. Because the left doesn't debate. The left doesn't debate these ideas, so they turn the comments.
That's exactly why I'm doing this video, because he says the left doesn't debate. It's not about left or right politics. I honestly hate the same way a snowflake will try to indoctrinate other people into accepting their beliefs as the way they think they have the moral authority to tell other people how to behave. To me, the problem is not the idea, it's the hypocrisy. If you hold a standard as true and you are honest about it, it doesn't matter what kind of standard it is. It allows you to say, this is who I am, this is what I believe, and I'm gonna put it forward. But at the same time, they are trying to condemn what the left is doing while they do it even worse. I have never seen a single leftist, snowflake, a woke person, be like, hey, you have to go through psychological therapy because being straight, it's a mental issue. Nope. But I've seen, historically, we know that shock therapy, or what was the conversion method that they would put gay people through on religious institutions. They did that. That's sexual indoctrination. You're telling people you are going to hell because of the way you feel, because of what you like. You are going to hell because you don't follow the moral standards of people. And if we go back to the argument that they were making about preachers, that the responsible for the unhappiness, the mental stress, and the decomposition of society, it's because of the wrong ideas they are preaching. But what if we flip it around? If we say then preaching ideas to people it's incorrect, it doesn't matter what kind of idea it is. It doesn't matter if it's left politics, if it's right politics, that I don't subscribe to. Left and right politics is something of the last century. It doesn't really matter anymore. It's more about the individual's capability to be free versus the collectivization of society. But it's not socialism versus capitalism anymore. We are all using a capitalist system like China. It's still a Marxist country. They still use capitalism. So left and right, that idea, it's obsolete. It doesn't apply anymore. That's the real issue. That people like them are the wedge that's dividing society with fake dichotomies. It's trying to say they are wrong because of the moral they have, and we are right because of the moral we have. And we go back to the point I was making earlier. There are no ways to measure the morality of a person the same way we measure gravity, or we measure temperature, or we measure light. You can have on a scale that's gonna measure the amount of photons light bulb is like expelling, and it's gonna be universal because the same amount of photons, it's gonna remain constant regardless of like temperature. Temperature is still the same temperature regardless if you are measuring through centigrades or Fahrenheit. You cannot say the same thing with morality because there is no a universal scale for morality, because morality is not quantifiable.
Comments off so that conservatives and people with different ideas can come on and correct them on these things.
See what I'm saying? It's up to conservatives and people with the right ideas to come and correct them. So it's again the mentality of us versus them. I'm right, you're wrong because I believe in God and you do not. So if we go back, or if we get to that point, whose God is stronger? Because I'm pretty sure Jewish people, Christians, and Muslims all share the same God, don't they? Isn't it like a progression? So if you're a Christian person and you're telling me you have to obey the moral tenets that God imposes over you, why do you think the Old Testament was abolished by what Christ did? If you believe that you have the right to lecture other people because you're a conservative and you have Christian values, does it mean a Jewish person would be able to condemn your behavior because it's immoral according to an older version of the same laws that the God, the deity dictated? And if that's the case, wouldn't all Christians be wrong because there's a different and new interpretation of the same divine law of that deity?
I'm on TikTok, okay? Sorry.
Freakazoid.
Oh my gosh.
That's not an argument. See what I mean about the hypocrisy? That's why I'm mad. That's why I'm doing this video. Because...
Freakazoid, okay? What is a man?
Don't tell me that's not cynicism, that's not arrogance, that's not them believing they are right and they know more than a doctor. But I don't think any single person of that panel has a PhD on medicine or biology or science.
Man.
Maybe political science, but not actual STEAM fields. And that's the issue. They are trying to make a moral argument against if a doctor's saying it, if medicine does not support your morality, if science does not support your morality anymore, what's the justification you are using to say people don't debate these kind of things? What am I doing right now? I'm proposing and I'm refuting every single proposal you have made.
Our midst.
But I mean, I have all my comments on all my social media. Anyone can come on and debate me, no matter what they want to do. That's fine. I accept the debate. But the left, they don't debate like that. They turn their comments off so that their ideas can just spread. And
again, the left. It's not a right or left thing anymore. The world doesn't work that way. Let's go find out what. Because I know, but I don't remember precisely. I know it has to do. And then the other topic that I was watching, right? Because that's where it comes from. From the French Revolution. See? Left and right wing. Left and right political spectrum is a system of classifying political positions, ideologies, and parties based on issues of social equality, social hierarchy. In addition to positions of the left and right, there are no centrism or moderates who are not strongly aligned with either extreme. There are those who view left and right political spectrum as overly simplistic, and who reject the method of classifying politics stance, suggesting instead of some other systems such as two-dimensional rather than one-dimensional description. See what I mean? Like, even the definition says the same form of classification is obsolete. Origin of the French Revolution. I apologize if I'm reading horrible. English is not my first language. Se los juro. Hablo español primero que inglés. The term left and right appeared during the French Revolution in 1789, when members of the National Assembly divided into supporters of the king to the president. See, that's the separation of left and right. So it was aristocracies versus, I will say, democracy, but there are democracies that are somewhat like the democracy in Mexico. It's more, or it was more of an aristocratic system than an actual democratic system. So even in those situations, it's obsolete.
But no one has a chance to have any sort of rebuttal.
I would love to see what the average age is of people that are now starting to get TikTok. Because I just know I've seen so many videos of children dancing, and I just don't understand how it's possible for parents to be able to manage that content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why we need parents to be parents. Stand up to your children. You don't get TikTok, you don't get none of this social media. If I catch it, I'm breaking your phone.
Yes, exactly. Every single parent should be entitled to impose a set of ethical, moral, behavioral standards on their children until they achieve the capability to think for themselves critically. But it's not okay for grown adults like them to try to utilize political institutions to impose a moral code on other people the same way it's wrong for the left to try to impose a morality on the general population. That's the real problem with society. It's not... It's intolerance. It's the fact that these kind of ideas, it's what's causing division among society. And the worst part is, those ideas aren't even founded on science or logic. It's just their opinion. But I think I've been ranting for long enough. And honestly, I've never thought I would do a video like this on my life, but I guess I just did. Because I'm tired of being quiet. Because I don't subscribe to the right or to the left. Both sides are... They are doing exactly the same thing. That's why they are so hypocritical. Because they are doing the same thing and they're... You are wrong because you're doing that. Yes, you are doing it as well. So maybe we have... There used to be this kind of way of thinking. Problem, reaction, solution. It's called the Hegelian dialectic, but actually it's thesis, synthesis, thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. We have come to the synthesis. We have the antithesis and the thesis. That's exactly the same thing, but backwards. Let's say all men say all women are evil, and all women say all men are evil. So the actual, though that's the thesis and the antithesis, the actual truth is in the middle. The fact that not every single woman is bad and not every single man is bad. There's good women and bad women, and there's good men and bad men. So it goes the same with this point. It's not about right and left. It's not about my morality versus your morality. It's the fact that it's not okay for other people to try to impose their perspective of life on other people. We should try to achieve harmony, not destroy society with ideas, which is the saddest part of them all. We are not able to agree on what is true, and what's dividing society is that incapability to reconciliate both sides of a freaking coin. But all I can do is rant about it because I'm not able to change society other than just put my opinion out there, because there's people who are gonna argue who don't subscribe to the left or to the right because both sides are wrong. It's not about us versus them or me being a part of a group. It's we are all humans, and we all should try to get along and respect the way other people think, because in a way we are all wrong. So thank you for watching and putting up with my, I don't know, moodiness. But I really had to do this because I wouldn't be able to live with myself just commenting on their other people's videos. Because I already did that. And I'm sorry, yes, I gave myself a light. Every single institution in this planet is looking to control you, to possess your individual power. It doesn't matter what it is. If we invest ourselves into any intangible entity on this planet, you will willingly become a slave of that entity. It doesn't really matter the name you give. The name you give them. We've been serving institutions for at least 2,000 years. It's time individuals claim back the power we have surrendered to collective ideologies of any denomination. And with that, I'll say goodbye and thank you for watching.